Live on the stream. I need to actually load my TikTok so I can see your comments. Stand by. It's been a busy morning this Monday as I was running deep into the analysis, trying to see where we're going from here. So we're in an interesting spot because although I think we can go down lower for a retest, we're in a landmine area where things could get very interesting. So let's see. I should be good to roll here. Let's talk about it real quick, guys. You have the VIX. Let's start with the VIX this round. The main thing I want you guys to look at on the VIX, obviously, if the VIX goes down, markets go up, VIX goes up, markets go down. You can see the VIX has been just in a tear up. So let's see kind of where we're at. So I had marked this level here, 23.62. You can see this was a pretty heavy prior resistance. It did break through it a few times here, but it acted as pretty strong resistance. We had a lower level of resistance around here, around 21.4 or so, and we shattered through that. So if this pulls back and continues to hold support on that, right, then we're going to pump up a little bit higher on the VIX, which would cause the markets to pull back just slightly. Then, but you got to remember, we're getting into that area of the VIX where, that pullback is going to come, right? If you come to that daily and you look at this like this, right, you can almost draw just a simple trend line, right, down like this, or you can try to include this lower wick. It brings in, all of this other, if you want to try to touch as many points as you can. So this would be somewhere, if we break above this 23, that I would expect that it could come up to this level before it has that hard rejection. Overall, looking out, you can see we had a nice little clean double bottom on the VIX, pushing that back up. So it's going to be a wild week. So when it comes to the SPY, guys, this is what I put out here in the room. You guys seen, I had the arrows up, so I'll figure out talk on it. This is a key level. So 417.48, because we have resistance here, a lot of resistance in there. Notice when it flipped from resistance to support, it just took off. And that was our tear all the way up to almost 460. So ever since then, we've kind of created those lower highs each time like this. We just had our double top off of this rejection here, and we're just touching that line. So the reason why I say it's a key area is because Kyle. The reason why I say that is because any areas that we've had significant resistance like this that had flipped to support with significant support, we're either going to get a landmine bounce within here as a confirmed support through this, right? Or we're going to flip below it like this, come down to this 410 area, and then come back up and start to reject. And if it starts to reject, right, it's going to get nasty. We got a lot more down we can go. If you look at though, we haven't quite broke that. The interesting thing is, at the end of the day, if you look at this trend that we're pulling down, we have this high, the lower high, we have another lower high, but we also created a lower low, right? You have your low, your lower low, and then you have your lower low again from there. So a push up to here, into that 430, 432 range again would not surprise me over the week or two. The explosion to try to get back up to this 450, 460 would need to break this lower trend line here. That's what I have marked. We're pretty significantly below the 200. You guys know I follow that on the 1 hours pretty heavily. That price is 430. If you really do some research on the max pain points, the max pain points are really hanging out about 430. So and the markets, as far as put to call ratios, is pretty overly bearish right now. So a little reversal, from the markets would not surprise me to try to wreck a lot of those puts that are trying to hold on. So we are very oversold. You can see here. We can look back to the last few times that we were oversold. You can see right there we were oversold, and we got a little bit of a bounce. It was about a $4 bounce or so. This is a similar area. You can see 443 up to 450, $7 bounce. So I'm not saying we're going to the moon, but I'd be, it's like we teach in the room. Don't become overly bearish. Don't become overly bullish, right? Just go off what you see, trade it as it comes. So As far as the SPY goes, you know, like I said, I'm going to be watching that crucial area. You guys know in the room, I had put out this, our support and resistance plus our key level. The key level between the support and resistance is actually closer to up in this area, 422 or so, because if we do break, if we hold above here, that's going to be possible bearish or bullish reversal coming in. But the key level, you know, we kind of put out is somewhere closer to this 422 range, because you can see in here you have a lot of support. So if it actually can pull off of this and hold this support, right, then we're likely to come up back up to this upper red pivot here. Or at least this trend line right there. So that's kind of how I'm going to watch it this week, how I'm going to look to trade it as well. Jumping into the DXY, you know, if we go to the 1 hour, you can see kind of on a little bit of a tear here. We're just literally kind of hanging off to a little bit of a cliff right here. So obviously if we can break back below kind of where it's at right now, if we hold resistance there, then it's going to come down to retest this 105 area. If it does, you know, I mean, you can kind of see probably on a higher time frame. I just don't have all the time frames, but if you go to a little bit of a higher time frame like this, right, you can see we could potentially get that kind of break right here. If we break that neckline, then that would cause a pretty nasty fall there. So the interesting thing is Bitcoin. I wanted to talk about briefly. I don't spend a lot of time on Bitcoin, but you know what we talked about last week, for those of you guys that are on here every day, we had this wick, this kind of fake wick, right? And so I want to back it up a little bit to that fake wick when this happened. So what I had said was, if you can see this key level of 28,085, if we continue to hold support on this, you had a golden cross here, right, from the 21 SMA to the 200 EMA. If this were to continue to hold above this 21 SMA, I had said that it's going to likely have a pretty nasty push north, because people are going to believe that this wick was not a fluke. They're going to believe that the markets actually could go up, right? And so you can see, actually, I told Google to pause, but apparently Google wanted to start playing music again. So you can see, as we, you know, kind of do the replay with the chart, we held above that 21. We did break a little bit below it, but notice the strength, right, as it's starting to continue to climb up. And so once this starts to happen, it's funny, because even though we had our divergence here, you can see it kind of held strength a little bit, held it. Let me fast forward a little faster for the sake of time here. So you can see we held that side right above that 21, and then notice how it just right around here, I just saw that it's going to hold it, and you can see all of a sudden, boom, people start buying in, and up we go. And just, you know, as it continues to hold that, it's pressuring those resistance points. The one thing I will caution you on Bitcoin, if you guys caught the Bitcoin back here, and this golden cross, awesome job. I mean, you played that very well. But we are near heavy resistance here. So you know, we've already marked that on our charts here. If you click out, you can see why. This area is a very heavy resistance area. Even with this crazy parabolic push up, it just collapsed. So we would really need to flip these areas in order to see something continue really strong upwards. So if we pull out to the daily, you can kind of see where this is that area we were talking about, right? So what I would probably do if I were trading Bitcoin, which I don't trade Bitcoin a lot anymore since the SEC screwed us. Let me erase all these lines here just to give us a little bit of an easier view here. So what you could do is you could take pretty much something simple like this and just take these two peaks like that. We could easily see this momentum continue north like this, and we can get as high as, you know, 32.8, 32.7, anywhere in this range. It's going to just reject nasty. So be really careful chasing this long all the way up here. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it held this kind of low, which, you know, is the same as it did here. That caused this nice little bullish push. And we're just back in this range. So there's a chance that we could just range here for a little bit and then another push north. But it's definitely going to need a cool off. So, I mean, even on the daily, look, we're at 78. I mean, just so overbought. So just my suggestion, if you're trading crypto, don't chase this. Just if you got in it, congrats. If you didn't, I would suggest just kind of hold off, wait for a pullback. You don't want to buy on these type of candles. So That's really all I got, guys. I don't know if, let me see if you guys want me to look at anything else. If not, if you guys are in the community watching this, I'll have the room open actually at 10 today, not 9:30. Alex and I we did a lot of work through the weekend to push a lot of updates, and as you guys know, we gotta test those. So we can't do some tests on them until market opens. So we're gonna just test through from 9:30 to 10, and then I'll have it open at 10. So you guys know we don't really trade from 9:30 to 9:45, anyways. I can definitely do tests on Microsoft, but yeah. So I'll have that room open at 10. Let me take a quick look at Tesla. Tesla took just an ass whooping. I heard it was some on a recall that was going on, but let's just take a look here. So I'll tell you the interesting / concerning part about Tesla for me is you can see here this was heavy support. I mean, it just literally, after an absolute nosedive, it just corrected and almost reclaimed the whole thing. And it's due to the fact that you had, again, you have heavy resistance within here, right? So that was a 213.15 is a critical level, and it's already broken that. That's what's kind of scary. So at the end of the day, though, you think about this, right? You have a high, your lower high, your lower high. You also have your low, right? And now you've created a lower low. So that's just kind of confirming the longer trend. It doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily crash some more. I mean, you can see here, I mean, we're definitely coming out of that oversold territory on the 1 hour. We do have that bullish divergence kind of forming a little bit. If you look at that, get that out of here. So if you look here, right, you have your low, you have your higher low, you have your higher low, and you have if you match it up to here, it's a low, lower low, lower low. So the money's starting to come into the market. Yeah, I would say, for me, I mean, it really has to hold at least this resistance level here around 208.50 or so. I mean, the high of that candle was probably 208 really. So I would say if you stay above 208 and it holds it, today and maybe tomorrow, you can catch a nice little call reversal on that. That's how I'd play that. But if we break below that 208, man, there's just nothing else holding it up until like 190. I mean, back in here, I mean, it's just not a lot of support really. You're just gauging where there was prior resistance to see if it actually held as support, right? But you can see, I mean, there's really no trend lines. There's no nothing. I mean, maybe if we go to the daily, let's see. I mean, hopefully you don't hit that, but I mean, this would be the only lower pivot trend line, right? Would be from here, which heck, that, I mean, that would put it like 130. So I don't know if you can gauge off of that right now. So, but yeah, honestly, I'll tell you guys, I still have faith in Tesla. I think Tesla is going to pull out strong. I think it can be an amazing call setup, like a longer term swing. I just would caution you to do it too soon. Be patient. Let it if I'm playing this one, I'm going to let it reclaim this 213.15 area. Because if we pull up our zone tracker and our Bollinger, that would also confirm that we have flipped this 21 SMA, right? I was wanting to confirm that. So we'd flip this 21 SMA, we'd reclaim this support, and look at the gap till the 200. It's like 242. So you could do a pretty nasty call swing on that. But again, it's got to flip this 21 SMA or you got no hope. So let's see, Microsoft. Let's mute some of these here real quick. I like to look at the trends first and just see where we're going. So you can see Microsoft actually similar's kind of got that lower high action going. Heavy support down here on 310. Yeah, I would probably mark around here, around 311.75 is where I would mark that. You do have a 2-point you can pull up like that, which would give you, so if we do break down further, anywhere around 320, 319 could be a pretty nice call play. And then for the upper, you know, I would just do something simple like this. So that would give you kind of your upper band. I would just play this range on that if I'm playing Microsoft. I mean, that's not even using any indicators. So Bollingers are tightening, starting to turn red actually. Gap feels pretty balanced. Harmonic actually called the short here. And then zone tracker, yeah, I mean it's calling the resistance here still. So as long as this stays red, we you know, anything up in here you'd want to take your puts. But lots of green in here, tons of green, tons of support. So good deal, guys. I do got to get ready to test some things. This TikTok, you know, and things is I'm trying to keep them short and sweet. If you guys want to come into the room, come into the room, right? Check us out, aboutjock.com. You can come in here, lots of stuff we can do. We'll do some trading today. Pretty much one-stop shop. It's free to check us all out. Like I said, we don't really charge you guys for coming in. We charge you and hanging out and trading with us. We charge you guys for our technology. So if you want to use our indicators or our automation, that's what you're paying for. So it's only $47, so it's not even bad. I mean, it literally makes itself back. So but I appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to jump off here. We do have some testing I got to do again from 9:30 to 10, and then we will hit the trading floor around 10 a.m. So I will see you guys then.